Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Beyond the Business. Today's mini episode is about energy, but not in the way it's usually discussed. Not about optimism and not about promises, and not about the next solution. Today, I want to talk about a pattern we keep repeating every time we believe we have finally solved the energy problem. If we look at energy systems historically, something becomes very clear. Every major energy transition solved a real problem and quietly created a new form of residue. Fossil fuels give us growth, mobility, industrial power. They also left us with emissions, atmospheric imbalance, and climate disruption. Nuclear energy dramatically reduced CO2 emissions, but it introduced long lived radioactive waste and the need for risk management on a time scale far beyond human institutions. Renewable energy addresses emissions and dependency on fossil fuels. Yet it brings a growing material footprint: turbines, solar panels, rare earths, composites, batteries, systems designed to scale fast but not to disappear cleanly. And now hydrogen is often framed as the energy of the future, clean at the point of use and quite promising. But emerging recent research suggests that hydrogen emissions may indirectly increase warming, not by CO2 emissions, but by altering atmospheric chemistry and amplifying methane's impact. Every energy transition shifts the form of impact, from air to land, to materials, and sometimes to invisible atmospheric interactions we barely understand yet. We don't eliminate consequences, we relocate them. And this is where the conversation usually breaks down, because energy debates are framed as binary: clean or dirty, good or bad, renewable or fossil. But reality doesn't work that way. The real issue is not whether a solution works. The real question is whether its consequences are understood, accepted, and designed for. Technology isn't the villain. This is important to say clearly. This is not an argument against renewable energy, and it's not a defense of fossil fuels. At this stage, renewable energy is necessary. It is a valid and essential response to climate pressure. But deploying any system at planetary scale without a clear end-of-life strategy turns solution into delayed waste. And delayed waste is still waste. We are exceptionally good at designing systems for deployment. We are far less disciplined at designing systems for retirement. What happens when turbines reach the end of their lifespan? What happens to composite blades that cannot be easily recycled? What happens to batteries when supply chains outpace recovery infrastructure? These questions are usually postponed, not because they are unimportant, but because they are inconvenient. They don't fit well into growth narratives, investment decks, or transition timelines. And consumption is not only about how much energy we use, it's about how responsibly we deploy systems. An energy system doesn't end when the power stops flowing. It ends when its materials are safely reintegrated or permanently abandoned. And right now, much of the global transitions assumes someone else sometime later will deal with what remains. Progress does not mean finding clean energy. Clean energy as a concept is often an illusion. Progress means designing energy systems that acknowledge residue, material, chemical, ecological, and temporal. It means accepting that every benefit leaves something behind. And maturity means deciding in advance who carries that responsibility. Ignoring residue doesn't eliminate it, it only postpones the conversation until the scale becomes unavoidable. We have already seen this pattern before with emissions, with plastic, with biodiversity loss. The question is whether we recognize the pattern early enough this time, or whether we repeat it again under a different label. Energy transitions are not just technical shifts, they are ethical, material, and systemic decisions. And until we design not only for power generation, but for what remains after the benefit is gone, we will keep solving problems and inheriting new ones. Thanks for listening. This was Beyond the Business. See you soon.